scenario and having to choose between two unfortunate situations.
Like Denji with the cat. The worst example. That's the worst example.
Those who know, man.
Was the best guy around.
What about the people he murdered?
What murder?
Welcome back to the Hishaku Hideout, a weekly podcast where we talk about the latest chapter and everything Kagurabachi. I'm here with Dice.
Yo.
And today we're getting into chapter 101. And this chapter manages to raise the stakes even higher from chapter 100. Hokuzono's like a madman. This top 3 chapter of the arc for me, and I've probably said that a lot of times, this fucking arc, because it's been, this is over half the runtime, or the sword bear assassination arc, depending on how you look at it. If it's been going since after the Rakuzaichi, it's over half the runtime of the manga at this point. But just spectacular chapter.
Yeah, dude, another banger chapter. Is it safe to say that, we're pretty much at the climax? Obviously this fight is about to get started, but is that safe to say?
I think so. It feels like it has to be almost, because it's just he's been feeding us so good. And I just can't imagine how can we get much higher? You know what I mean? It's that. Because he's amping up the stakes, the gas, hype, aura-filled moments are just going more and more, and he manages to always meet the level of expectation of hype. And in this chapter, he apexed that expectation with that insane pull-up, or as we talked about, who needs to pull up when you get the beef delivered to you, Amazon Prime delivery style.
Yeah, man. I totally agree. I think it couldn't be any more clear that this is the climax of the arc, whether you see it as the Sword Bear's assassination arc or the assault on Kamunabi HQ. This is clearly what everything has been building towards. And it's Sheba, Chihiro, and Samura pulling up at the same time. We'll go through it, but it doesn't get any bigger than that, man. And the ending of this chapter, you can really feel that. Like I said, we'll go through the whole chapter, but I just want to say that up top because this chapter was bigger than 100. Obviously, a 100 is just a number, right? We put all that energy into it, and we had the big Soga reveal, so I'm not trying to, talk down on it, but this is what we've been waiting for. So I'm excited to get into it, man.
Facts. And starting off, Isami, we see where that fight kind of where it went to from last chapter, and Isami, it went about as you expected. You can't really expect Isami with 2 hands, 100% Uruha and Natsuki to go up against Yura as a chicken nugget with no arms. Yeah,
no, I will admit I was nervous because Isami got him clean with that kick there, but yeah, I guess I was just being paranoid because you are right. Nothing too surprising here. Isami might be about to go out for real this time.
But shout out, still though, we do, I know me and you both are big on Isami. We throw jokes at him, but everyone gets joked on around here. But truthfully, he made that pull up and he bought the extra time for all this to happen. We don't know exactly in increments of time exactly how much is passed, but he bought us the extra time to allow for Sheba to come through. You know what I mean? Even Yura said it, or Kazan said it. I think a bunch of different people kind of said it throughout this arc. Just a couple of minutes. It's always been about these few minutes. And, who's going to get to who first? Who's going to get to the finish line? And right as, Yura was making, his, finishing leap towards the finish line, Isami bought us those, spare couple minutes or seconds, whatever it was, for all these, events to take place, which allowed, the end of the chapter to happen, which is huge.
Yeah, because that's a very good point, because Isami interrupted that conversation between Soga and Yura. we didn't even get Soga's response to Yura's pitch, right? So who knows what would have happened if Isami didn't pull up. So that is a very good point, man. You know, shout out Isami, shout out the security dude, shout out Hakuri, shout out Ikuto, man. Like, honestly, a lot of MVPs on the side of the good guys this chapter, for real.
Facts. Yeah, it was a concerted effort to fight back against like overwhelming adversity. You know, they're in their headquarters, but Hishaku came in there and really made it their own, literally. You know, and
yeah,
it's impressive. I think what's most impressive about this arc is the continuous struggle between the good guys and the Hishaku. Every time one of the sides felt, you know, too much in control of the situation, usually a chapter or two would go by and it would give the other side, you know, some hope or even the upper hand. So I really like respect Hokuzono's what he did. And just to harken on like the conversation from last week, you know, as you mentioned, we didn't get Soga's reply. I really think that the chess match isn't over there, and Soga is sus of Yura. Like, how's this guy know this thing? I asked him who he was. He didn't, you know, say. So I am looking forward to hopefully like some kind of resolution to that conversation somehow. But I mean, we'll see as that plays into it. But yeah, man, I do want to shout out though, as you mentioned, like Ikuto, the security guy, Hakuri, a lot of MVPs. And you spit with that one. Like, especially the security guy, man. That dude said, kill me. Cushy life, 2 years left. Kill me.
Yeah, man, I said this a couple of episodes ago about like how the Kamunabi have some writers, and this guy again adds to the list, because I do like how Hokuzono manages to characterize these side characters. You know, this guy is like, I did it for one thing, and it's like, he lied. You know, he was doing it for the money. And I thought that's just, it's very subtle, but to a degree like relatable, and it just adds to why, again, part of why we're praising this character, right? So I thought that whole thing was cool. And then how Hakuri manages to find a way, the whole thing, Ikuto's line, you know, obviously like his backstory and like the line that he tells Hakuri about being left on the other side, being the only one that's alive. You know, we talked about this. It's just tough, man. Like the Kamunabi, like they sacrifice, right? At least the fighters, right? Like I ain't talking about the old heads up there, but the fighters, you know, we've seen it with every single one of them, man. They're willing to put themselves on the line, whether it's because they got personal motivations behind it, like Natsuki, or somebody like Ikuto, whose personal motivation kind of fuels his ideals, right, about doing what's right and that whole thing. So it is a Hishaku Hideout, but we got to give credit when it's due, man. And yeah, definitely do this time.
Facts. This started off as a Kagurabachi podcast first. The Hishaku Hideout name came after. So, you know, this podcast wasn't formed to just glaze at Hishaku, even though we for sure will. You know, but like, yeah, the Kamunabi, it's kind of like, you know, they say don't fear your country, fear your government. And it's not even the fact about the government, it's the figurehead of the Kamunabi. It's, you know, I've been kind of like on the defense a while saying, yo, the Kamunabi might not be bad. It might just be like some bad apples at the top.
Yeah.
Remember, I was kind of sympathizing with them like
Yeah.
maybe 20 chapters ago, and I was getting, you know, cooked for it low key. But real talk, you know, it's, you can't like look at this guy. He came in for the money, and he grew a sense of duty, being the one to like protect, being like the structure, the infrastructure literally for the protection of his whole the whole you know, Kamunabi, to protect citizens who, you know, from these sorcerers and all that. So he plays like a major role, and that sense of duty just was nurtured over time about him filling his station. So like, I think it's like incredible. He had a super interesting character introduction. Then he is now like he's just like recontextualized as a solid ass like character down for the cause. As you said, like Natsuki and them, Ikuto, they all have their different reasons. You know, Ikuto's like a survivor's guilt that we see him struggle with, but it's that sense of like experience that he's went through why he's the perfect person to like push Hakuri into making the call, or pushing Hakuri to like do whatever he did to be able to teleport himself over there. It's his like experience that gave Hakuri the nudge to like make it happen. He's like what he says, one person's sacrifice could save everyone. Think about the opposite scenario. Imagine the Hella surviving while everyone else dies. Hakuri said, say no more. Say less. Mask on. You get masked up and gets the business. And he puts himself in danger too, because Hokuto is a demon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love it because he figures it out. It's kind of like it's something that you see very often with like superheroes when they're tasked with like two options, and somehow, some way they figure it out. They don't comply to the scenario and having to choose between two unfortunate situations.
Like Denji with the cat. The worst example. That's the worst example.
Those who know, man. Oh my god.
My bad, bro.
No, that was funny. But yeah, man, that's why we're shouting out Hakuri, because yeah, he puts himself there, right? And he says fuck it, like you said, mask on, and he figures it out, saves the guy. He just needs to be gone from this space, right? So man, just genius, and again deserves the glaze.
Facts, brother, facts. Hakuri, that little motherfucker did it again.
Yeah.
But Hokuto is about to like pop a couple puppets, and he about to get to work on Izuru. Now, if Izuru beats Hokuto, I'm gonna be upset, because I fuck with Hokuto.
I don't know, man. I don't know, but yeah, like definitely not, right? Like Hokuto shouldn't lose to Izuru. He's just losing one hand, but he's a smoke demon, so who knows if we'll even see that, right? Because we have bigger things to get into.
Yeah, someone made the hotline bling. Fucking Sheba pulled up. Who made the call? I don't think they showed that. I wonder who made
the boss call, right?
Like, yeah, Sheba, we need a delivery. Same day.
Just seeing him, right, and like a panel in the corner, right, like not even a big panel, like obviously after like the second time, but just the first panel we see him is so Sheba, just so nonchalant, just right there, like
bottom left corner.
Yeah, like nothing, and then boom, bro. Whew. Cold.
And I love it because Isami's like, took you long enough, and Yura's like, the enchanted blades can't get in. What the hell?
The pinnacle,
like,
bro.
He's like,
oh my
She Willikers, why I oughta, like, he's like, what the fuck I gotta deal with now? It's like, is Yura about to fuse? I mean, if Isami about to fuse with Ikuto?
Stop it. Dude, but remember, Yura called Sheba the pinnacle, bro. So like, just sealing him pull up, just, I know he's got like the Magatsumi and all, but woo, he felt it, right? He felt that pressure. And lucky just, Sheba, I don't know about lucky, right? But Sheba just said, let's go outside. He didn't even, I thought they were going to scrap for a minute. Sheba got the fuck,
bro. That boy Sheba got the fuck. That boy said, ping, ping, and gone. That boy, I ain't never seen someone move so fast in my life. Even Minato would be like, God damn, that boy really teleporting his ass off. That boy, he grabbed his tie. He didn't want no smoke or touching him. He grabbed his little tie and said, come here, sir.
You're right. I love the agenda. Yeah, no, actually, you're right.
Let's step outside, and I'm going to come back inside.
Real quick.
Now, Sheba would impress the hell out of me if he teleports back inside and goes to town on the other Hishaku members.
Oh, I mean,
that's what I'd be like, all right, Sheba, you're a delivery man, but you got hands. Because we see the pinnacle of sorcery. So far, all the sorcery glaze has been the Masumi, the Kamunabi, the higher ups of the Kamunabi, and we saw what happened with Kazan when he tried to like show why he's like top 3. So like the pinnacle of sorcery, like really the PR team really took a hit. That's a damaging, So we need to. I want to see.
Wait,
exactly.
Wait, hold up. Why do you say that again? I'm sorry.
Because the Masumi, they're the Ikora glazers.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like
comparison,
the pinnacles,
okay.
The pinnacles of sorcery haven't done anything in terms of like combat action. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no, I
don't
see
get me
what
wrong.
you're saying now.
Sheba is obviously a dog. Like, we can't deny that. He's gonna have he's gonna
Isami.
be. Yeah.
He's the only one that's showed out so far. I see what you're saying.
And he's a physical fighter, though. You know what I mean? He still gets his credit. Azami and Sheba, they're both definitely built different. I'm not saying that, and I think it's how Hokuzono kind of wants to position the series. They're scholars that do sorcery, but their abilities can affect the battle tremendously. And then there's sword fighters. So I don't know. I'm just saying I want to see what Sheba in a legit 1-on-1, straight throwing hands, and not against Henry. He can't try and beat up a 15-year-old. Nah.
No, I see what you're saying, and I wouldn't be too surprised if his fighting style isn't too I'm sure Hokuzono will find a way to make it unique and different, but I don't think it's too dissimilar from Azami's in the sense that they're both probably serious hand-to-hand, close range.
They kind of augment their physical fighting ability with their sorcery instead of letting their sorcery do the fighting.
Yeah, and I'm sure Sheba can pack a punch, man. I'm sure the moment he fucking goes all out, it's gonna be a treat, and hopefully it's soon, because I do agree with what you're saying. Just to kind of get back to the chapter, I do think Sheba's gonna go inside and either do the same thing he did with Yura, just kind of teleport the Hishaku out, because that could be just light work, bro.
Please teleport Urin and Hiyuki, bro. We need that. Teleport Urin and Hiyuki, bro. Oh my god,
man.
I'm sorry.
No, you're right. Hiyuki definitely gotta, we definitely gotta see her in action too. I would be ashamed if we don't see her pop off by the end of this arc, but it also seems like if we're entering the climax and we're going into the big fight, which we'll get into in a bit, then there's only so much time for these other kind of side fights, I guess. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, man, Sheba, and I'll let you introduce the big boys.
Okay, so Ikura comes back into the scene and tells Yura to step the fuck outside.
Ikura.
No, before we touch on that, I do want to say that before we get into the fight, or I guess this is a good interlude to the fight. Azami's kind of drifting off. I'm sure he's alive, but he's probably just going unconscious. Hopefully, he says, "As the Kamunabi, we can't allow the 7th enchanted blade to be on the loose, just for your revenge." Motherfucker, little Chihiro, 15-year-old Chihiro, revenge? No, I just want to fight together for what my dad believed in. Oh my god, that boy Chihiro moves mountains, bro.
Yeah, it's so shit. I really like Chihiro, and I feel, I don't know if conflicted is the word, but to me he's written in such a unique way where his development as a main character, and maybe it's just because I don't read all that much manga, let's be honest, but it's so unlike what I'm used to reading, because again, this is Chihiro in the past as a kid, so it kind of tells us that he's always had the proper ideals for what he's doing. Is he masking that with this kind of thirst for revenge like we saw early on? The what is it, the sip of hatred, that was very, memed or whatever. But his development as a main character is so interesting to see. I still don't know how I feel about it yet. He's definitely a GOAT, and seeing this is, I can only respect it. But I would love to reread the story and see how I kind of interpret it, because we all know weekly experience is one thing, and I don't want to get too into that, but yeah, man, it's just interesting to see, because we've always kind of thought that Chihiro's kind of been doing this for revenge-oriented reasons, and now we see kind of in par with his development present day that it isn't exactly like that. And so I wonder if we're kind of going to get a deeper dive in his mentality, and maybe there's a struggle. Maybe there's a clear struggle about that, wanting to get revenge, and that side of him that we saw against Hirohiko, being willing to go down that path, and then this other side of him, which is the reason he actually started doing in the first place, which is standing on his father's belief, which is kind of what he had to be reminded of with the Masumi and what we saw with Samura. yeah, sorry to yap. It just kind of, I can't help but to think of that, right? Like this internal struggle from within Chihiro, and kind of hopefully we get to see more of that.
No, you raise a good point, because what you bring up is, I think, makes me think about all the things, because when you look at Chihiro's, like, technically, it seems like a lot of the growth that we see Chihiro's has, I mean, he has, like, you know, obvious growth, like going through Sojo. He's getting like these real, you know, reality checks that he needs along his journey. But it does seem like he was more composed as a 15-year-old than we might have gave him credit for. And he wasn't just a bloodthirsty revenge demon. It was more, or maybe he was, and it's just he's very calculated. He's aware that he isn't going to get like this, he isn't going to get the job done unless he has people to lean on, unless he has someone in the Kamunabi, you know, like Isami, that, you know, not saying he's manipulating the board, but kind of in a sense to like give him the avenues to be able to make the plays down the road. And he just needs to catch his ability up to get to that point. But in doing so, he faces these challenges that make him like question, do I want a life like Yori? If it means sacrificing all the memories I had of my father? No, I don't want that. You know, I wouldn't trade those memories for anything. So it's like those realizations that we see his growth. But it does seem like he was really understanding of what his future self was gonna need. You know what I mean? He does feel, I see what you're saying though. You know, because a lot of the developments we think we see on panel are flashbacks actually before the moment took place that he was already aware of, like the 200,000 casualties of Shikoku. So, you know, that is a good shout. That is a good shout. You know, I think maybe his character growth isn't as like, you know, isn't as like a peak. You know, it's more just like a linear, subtle growth. You know, just small jumps up of his own like ideology or perception of the world. But I mean, we'll see how that plays out down the road. Of course, you know, now we just got the two best aura farmers. You know, like I said earlier, who needs to pull up when the beef is delivered to you, same day delivery, Amazon Prime deliverer, Sheba bringing it to them, and they just standing there like, what's up, bitch, we back.
My God, bro, you know, you couldn't have put it better. The two best aura farmers in the series, top two by far. My God, and let's give some credit to Yura too, right? Like,
yeah, he's aura farming in the sky, just like chilling there. He's like,
dude, looking like Soga, kind of, you know, like we've only seen kind of Soga do it.
Oh,
so Magatsumi crumbs, you know,
bro,
crazy.
I just had a crazy thought.
Shoot.
We know the city has to be evacuated by now, right?
Oh my God.
That's a good leap in logic, at least. You know, the Kamunabi's being attacked before their comms went out. They probably, you know, evacuated the city. Hopefully the Kamunabi's that, you know, they think of that shit. What if that after this battle, that entire city looks like Shikoku? Flowers, the buildings all crumble down, and now it's like the prophecy.
That's huge, man. I wouldn't, you know, I don't think that's crazy at all. You know, people have been talking about like final arc taking place in Shikoku, going back to Shikoku or whatever. Shit, it might be something more along the lines of what you're saying. Maybe not now, but you know, you might be onto something.
This could be the first steps. Because think about it. Soga's also not compelling Yura. He doesn't have to strain his mind out to use the Magatsumi. He's not using the full Magatsumi's power, most likely. Now, if we see him unsheath that whole thing, oh, it's about to be a fight. Oh, I hope Yura, Soga allows Yura to unsheath that full thing.
Yeah,
pause. Pause, by the way. Ain't no one trying to see that Yura meat saber.
Chill. I guess this is like a good cutoff point to before because I do want to just spend a good time getting into what we think we're gonna see, like the fight, you know, or like if Hokazona's is gonna cut away, maybe we get like simultaneous fights, more than one going on. But any last thoughts on what we just saw from this chapter before we kind of get into more of the speculation side of things?
No, I think I need to change the chair because the chair's moist now. Fucking chapters got me hyped.
I agree, man. I agree. You told me something before we started recording, and we can let this bleed into the speculation side of things, which might be like a great segue. How we see the two enchanted blades, Magatsumi, we see like in hand, Yura's hand, and obviously then N10. You told me this, right? I'll give you full credit. Hokuzono could have drawn Tobimune behind N10, next to N10, whatever. You obviously it's pretty clear that N10 is the mirror of Magatsumi, right? Like it's these are the two polar opposite enchanted blades that were always meant to face off. So that could just be that, but it could also hint at a little something.
Facts. Hokuzono isn't shy about drawing like 3 character like spreads, or like look at Hirohiko, Chihiro, and Samura not very long ago. Now that's been about almost 30 chapters. Jeez. But so where's like Tobimune in this? He's present, he's a part of it, like you mentioned. The N10, the end goal of the series most likely is the Magatsumi. That's like the the initiator of like the plot. That's the final goal, that where Chihiro needs to break. But that still doesn't mean Tobimune couldn't have been included, because we know he likes drawing those like multiple character spreads. So it does make me wonder if that's like just raises Samura's death flag a little higher.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because it's not just like the character spreads. Like he loves to draw like multiple enchanted blades, when he can and when it's
cover.
relevant. Yeah, like anytime, right? Like he doesn't shy away from drawing multiple enchanted blades, usually when they're relevant to whatever's going on. And like I said, this could just be because it's the climactic clash between those two, right? But I'm with you, man. It could also be hinting at something more, and it's kind of like it's just right, like, because there are so many death flags around Samura. It almost feels like we're just waiting for it to happen. And I do want to bring that up because there's always the off chance that he doesn't. Like, now that we're kind of just getting into the whole speculation side of things, I do wonder if the whole Soga thing is going to play a part in this fight or afterwards. Because Yura has the Magatsumi, and maybe Magatsumi's power is really all that much that even in the hands of a guy that isn't a proficient as a swordsman compared to Samura, it can kind of clear that gap and then some to make up for Chihiro with N10. So like, because we know, Samura's second, bro. Like, it was Sword Saint, Samura, Ibuki right there, right? So like, I do wonder if Yura can really take on these guys, because when we're talking about pure swordsmanship, he might be like out of his depth, but can the Magatsumi clear that gap, right? We've been essentially everything that we know about it leads us to believe that like, yeah, easily, right? But is that really the case, or is Soga gonna have to maybe help Yura out somehow? What do you think?
Here's where I lean on this. So Kiora Sazanami, with just the tip of the Magatsumi's power, was fighting off like pretty casually, going hand to hand with Flamebone and N10, mind you, a weaker N10 and a weaker Chihiro. But now I'm hoping that we do get, and I brought this up several chapters ago, but I hope that Hokuzono gives us like, Yura is able to unsheath the Magatsumi halfway. At least that. Like, let us see that. But that will tell us just how drastic of a power jump the tip to the half is. That will give us some semblance of like a hierarchy of how much stronger the Magatsumi can get. Is Yura using half of the Magatsumi sword able to allow him to fight off the number 2 of the series, and Chihiro, who is like crazy strong now, who has been amped up now, and they both can heal, by the way, too. So that's why I'm just hoping we see some kind of like actual denominator, or like some kind of nomination of like percentage of Magasumi unsheathed. You know what I mean? That's what I say. If he unsheaths the whole thing, I don't think that's gonna happen, but it would be cool. That's just my thoughts on it. That's what I would like to see in the fight, I should say.
No, man, and that's a very good point. Because yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think that would be very cool to see. I don't know about halfway, right? It's kind of weird, but like just whoop it out, bro. You're a fucking just whoop it out, you know?
Let's see half that thing, boy.
No, but
half? Pull out a ball.
In all seriousness, I do wonder, because last chapter in Soga's hands, or virtually, we saw the Magatsumi unsheathed, I believe for the first time fully, at least up close.
Yeah.
So could that just have been like the setup for now, like you said, Yura just unsheathing it this time, and then that gives us like a clearer indication of a difference in power between a sheathed Magatsumi and just an unsheathed Magatsumi, because even then it's wielded in a fairly like we know Yura is definitely a better swordsman than Kyora. At least everything leads us to believe that, because he fought alongside Hokuto and went up against Uruha and Natsuki, at least kind of held his own barely, right? So I think that's a pretty fair assumption.
Yeah,
and in an unsheathed Magatsumi in Yura's hands, if Soga's just kind of laying back, letting him access the whole power, yeah, that's a whole nother story. And there I do wonder what this fight is gonna look like. Is Samura cooked? It very well could be. So
I wonder if Soga's gonna be like in Yura's head, giving him play-by-play. Hey, bro.
Imagine like
Samura really hates this move. Use Dragonfly on all his birds. He hates that.
Oh my god.
It's gonna be something crazy like that. You're gonna see Samura, if he unsheaths the whole thing, you can see Samura cut his own eyes. He's like, I'm going back to being blind. Fuck this.
No, that's crazy, because you just made me think about how Soga has front row seats in this whole thing. Like, he's just chilling, man. Yeah, he can play coach.
PTSD is about to go crazy too.
For real, that just might be the factor. He got eyes now too, so.
Yeah, he said he's gonna blind himself again. He said, I don't want to see this. And last thing I want to bring up is, I'm assuming that Iori, Masumi, Ikura, either the Masumi have their own hideout, which is an easy logical, assumption, or that they actually managed to like teleport, using because Chihiro and Sheba probably have contact with each other. And they basically use Samura's ability to like teleport over the group that they have to like Hiyuki, and then Sheba brought the other sword bearer to Hiyuki as well. Like Hiyuki might just be guarding all of them now.
Yeah, that's probably the more likely.
Yeah, but I mean that's it. Great chapter. I mean I've already said kind of my theories. I don't know if you want to share a theory before we head out.
No, I mean, I think because we were able to run through the chapter fairly quick, to be honest. We pretty much covered everything. I think you brought up a good point. I do think that Hiyuki might be kind of, might just sit this one out, just because there's just too much going on, and it could be safer to just leave her with the bears. But also, and we talked about this, off recording, I think last week, Kaguri, man, we know that his wielding of his enchanted blade, everything leads us to believe that he's wielding Subaru's a blade. That might have been confirmed. I really don't remember, but I'm looking forward to that, because I think it might, it's a perfect setup. We don't really know exactly what happened to the bears. You brought up that leaving them with Hiyuki was like the smartest alternative, but that might not be exactly what happened, and then that could open the doors perfectly for, that bear dying and Kaguri getting his enchanted blade. Now, I don't expect that to happen in this arc, again, because there's a lot going on, but it could be something to maybe look out for in terms of what might interrupt this fight, because, again, if we look a bit ahead, like, what's going to happen here? Does Yura die? Does Samura die and then Yura manages to escape? How? Like, there's a lot of
Yeah.
questions, and I'm not saying we have to like get into that, but there is still a lot that can unfold. And again, that's like, without even mentioning Soga, who there's a good chance that like might stay in the dungeon, because Isami's timing was quite perfect, dude.
That boy was like, I'm so close. Get me
Yeah.
out of here.
And he stood up, so I wonder where he might just like, and I've been saying that I think for like 2 weeks now, can he just walk out? Like, we know he's in a hole and he just stood up. Maybe he just can't like,
Goku stretching.
yeah, but like, how capable is he? Like, what can he do? I don't know. It's still like a lot that we can really get into. And we can cut the episode short, but I don't know if you want to
Nah.
address any of that.
No, not really. I mean, I do think I think it's like heavily hinted at that Kaguri has Subaru's blade just because he was like looking at meat or something when
Sushi.
sushi when Toto approached him. So I think that, I mean, Hirohiko, where's Kumiyuri at? Most likely, I'd feel the most safe if it was with Hiyuki. Now, Hirohiko can like remote activate the third ability, like Kumiyuri has a special third ability like that, and they make a play to, use that to like get past Hiyuki, kill Subaru, and get the Kumiyuri back.
Hey.
Like that would be crazy, but like that is more of like a end of the arc transition scene.
Yeah.
Like we see that happen, it fades out, and then the next arc starts with that being like the, where do we go from here? But I'm really looking forward to seeing next chapter, man.
No, that is a good point. Like, you know what? I think Ikura has Kumiyuri.
Yeah, he's about to wheel that bit. Hirohiko gonna die out, and Ikura about to come top 3.
No, but that is a good point. Like, where is Kumiyuri? And will that kind of play a part alongside, what I mentioned about Kaguri? It would be kind of like a good way, or like definitely like if somehow there was a way to like be even more shocked by what we see unfolding, it would be something like that, right? Like seeing the whole situation at Kamunabi headquarters get dealt with, and then we got fucking Hirohiko out of nowhere using his third ability, which, it might be a bit of a stretch, but hey, maybe it's not that exactly. Maybe it's something else entirely.
The true
Yeah.
realm allows for all these crazy things,
Yeah.
But I think that'll do it for us, right? Man, this is a good episode. I liked it. We was like snappy with this one.
Yeah, no, man, good talk. That's all from me then.
Yeah, same
Banging
here.
chapter, waiting for the next one for sure.
102 drops next week. So let's, let Hokusano cook. We'll glaze them up some more for sure, and see you next time. Peace.
Peace.